All right, back on Bronco Nation News, continuing our summer series here, catching up with all the Mountain West basketball coaches as we get you set for basketball season. And it's going to be here before we know it. Nice enough to join us for a couple minutes. Head coach at Nevada, Steve Alford. Coach, great season last year, number 2 seed in the conference tournament. You go to the NCAA tournament for a second year in a row. Appreciate your time for joining us. How you doing?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well, just big picture wise, I guess first, you lost a couple of key guys, you kept some key guys, you made some nice additions in the portal. Maybe if you could just kind of give us the 30,000-foot overview of your program right now.
Yeah, it's hard this early. We're just not even halfway through summer, and we don't have all the guys here. But I guess the biggest thing is I thought we did our staff. I'm very appreciative of our staff. They did a good job of. I think now where you're in that business, it's about who you retain, and we retained what we needed to retain, and so that was a big positive. We've got a very good nucleus coming back. And then I thought the staff did a really good job in the portal. We were able to target what we felt like we needed to add, and we've done that. And we really like what we were able to do in the portal. It's probably going to be might be my first year in 34 years of coaching that I don't have a freshman on the roster, so it's a little different. But we're going to be an old, very physical, I think more athletically than we were a year ago. With more experience. So it's going to be a very competitive fall once we get everybody here of just seeing who ends up being in that rotation. I think it's going to be very competitive because we got a lot of bodies.
And I forget which coach I talked to yesterday, but they said the same thing. They don't have a freshman either. I guess that's just the day and age of college basketball now, and how much easier it is to pick guys that are maybe more veteran and can help you faster. But a couple of your returners, as you talked about, Nick Davidson and Trey Coleman, KJ Himes. I mean, to have 3 starters back, and I know you have a couple other contributors, Daniel Tyler as well, back. But just to have 3 starters back, that nucleus, as you said, I mean, that's a luxury a lot of teams in this league won't have this year.
Yeah, I think that really helped us a year ago. We were able to retain Keenan. We were able to retain Jared. So I think that that really helped us. I really do. It's being able to retain and then go and figure out the gaps that you need to fill in recruiting. And I'm at least right now in July, I'm very excited about what we're able to do. Now it's about blending it all together like we had to do last year, and with new guys coming in. And we had some really good new guys that came in that gave us a lot of good minutes. And, I think that's always going to be a big key, and that's a big key this year because we probably got more that we're bringing into the mold this year than what we had a year ago.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of those returners. Trey Coleman first. I mean, we know defensively, obviously, what he can do being on the all-defensive team multiple years here has shown flashes offensively. But now with some of those other guys, maybe moving on, I mean, how much better can he be as an overall player, and what's the outlook for Trey?
Yeah, he's had a really good summer so far. He's gained weight and strength as old guys do, and he's in his 5th year. We've got him in his 5th year. We've got Daniel Foster in his 5th year. Ducell in his 5th year. We've got KJ Himes in his 7th year. We've got Nick in his 4th year. We've got a couple more portal kids in their 4th and 5th year. So we've got a lot of age and experience, and I think that's Trey. And Trey's offense has continued to improve year in, year out. I think this is a team we could really be good defensively because of just our size and our experience. And hopefully that's true, and it's going to be led by Trey. Trey is, I think Trey and Daniel are as good defensively as anybody in this league from a backcourt standpoint. So it starts with those 2 guys defensively, and with what he's doing offensively, it's been pretty impressive. Not just last year, but what he's continued to do here in the spring and summer.
You mentioned Nick Davidson being a 3rd-team All-League player last year. How much better can he be?
Yeah, I think Nick's got that potential to, he's one of the better players in this league. He's very versatile. We can play him at both big positions, and he can guard multiple positions. So I think he came here, he redshirted, he had a very good freshman year then, last year an outstanding year. And now I think it's that time for Nick to where I think he's very excited about the potential of where he can go from here, because he's got a chance to be one of the outstanding players in this league.
I had to do it. You mentioned KJ Himes, coach. I had to do a double take on the roster to make sure he was still back this year. You mentioned 7 years. That kind of experience and having a guy like that back, I mean, what does he provide, and where can he try to still, in his 7th year, elevate his game?
Well, I think, for KJ, he's just had to battle an awful lot of injuries. He had a season-ending injury a year ago and didn't get to play. He redshirted under Coach Musselman. He's been here longer than I have. So, but he's got a lot of experience in this league, and he knows about this league. He knows what it takes now, and we have been close. We've had a couple second place finishes, and last year was one of them to where we've been close to winning a championship. So just having that experience, of knowing this league, knowing what college basketball is all about, and he's healthy. I think last year was kind of a year where, he was trying to see, after back surgery and missing the whole year, other than the first 4 games of the season. I think last year was more of a feeling out year of, yeah, hey, did the surgery really work? Is my back really going to hold up? And I think he feels very good about it now. And we've seen that here in the spring and summer with him.
What about Daniel Tyler, your other returning guys, that were contributors? I mean, where do you hope they can take that next step, and where do you see them in terms of their roles and fitting in?
Well, Daniel's got a lot of experience running, very strong physical guard. Like Trey, his offense has continued to improve, but he makes his money at the defensive end. He and Trey are going to, they will spearhead our defense from the get go. And I think what he's doing, he's multiple position guy. Daniel can play with the 1 through the 4 for us, which that versatility really helps us, not just offensively, but defensively. Great leader. Somebody's going to really help us in a lot of ways. And then TR got some good experience at the point as a freshman playing back behind Keenan. And now we need him to take that next step in the point guard position, which I think he's ready to do. And we got Amir, who didn't get as much play last year as we had liked, but is a shooting guard who had a really good freshman year of just practicing, learning in a really veteran team. And he's had a very good spring and summer.
Steve Alford, our guest for a couple more minutes here on Bronco Nation News, talking Nevada basketball. And Coach, you made some additions in the portal. I mean, you mentioned Xavier Dussel. I think he's the 4th guy in the Mountain West, maybe the 5th. That's on like his 3rd Mountain West school, or on multiple Mountain West schools. I mean, these guys, you see him and you bring him over, and that was obviously a big pickup. Maybe you could just touch on what you hope to see from Dussel, and then Kobe Sanders, and just your other portal additions.
Yeah, with Xavier, he's just somebody that can really shoot the basketball. And we lost a guy like Jared Lucas who could really shoot it. And Xavier, I think, is going to fill in very nicely in that position. I think he's less than 63s away from breaking the Mountain West record, I think, on threes. So he's been in the Mountain West a long time with Wyoming and Fresno. So he, again, like KJ, he's got a good feel and understanding what this league's been about. And he's a shooting guard that can really make shots, and he's got deep range. He's more athletic than I thought. I told him that the other day in practice. So we're really looking for big things out of him. Kobe is, a guy that at 6'8" can play the point, and another very versatile player that can play multiple positions. And that's pretty exciting, for us, especially having a big point guard last year in Keenan. I think really helped us both offensively and defensively, and having that opportunity now with Kobe to do the same, and even a bigger guard than what Keenan was, is going to be big for us. The scorer, both he and Xavier are big time scorers from the programs that they're coming from. So it's going to help our scoring, because we lost Keenan, and McIntosh and Lucas were all good scorers for us. And so I think both those guys are going to help with our scoring. We've been extremely impressed with Brandon Love, a big that we've got that really adds to our athleticism in the front court, shot blocker, rim runner. Been very impressed with his offense and defense early in the workouts, and I think he's going to help us from day one. Justin McBride from Oklahoma State is somebody, a young player that I think is going to be a really special player down the road. He's about 6'8" and can shoot the basketball. He can do a lot of things athletically that we really like what he's doing. And then getting Chuck late in the summer, getting that big guard, about 6'5", very athletic, strong, physical kid he's from Detroit, but he played at Evansville last year, is going to give us a lot of versatility in the backcourt, because I think he's already way ahead of the game, both offensively and defensively, for a young player that's still got 3 years left.
I know you say it's early in the summer, Coach, but I mean, it sounds like you like your group. I mean, it's on paper, it's one thing. You've seen them a little bit, but when you look at who you have back and what you add, I mean, overall, how do you feel about this team?
Well, we're excited, because we do. We think we've taken two really good steps the last couple years, and now here comes a year where I think we're going to be even older. We should have more experience. We should our physicality and athleticism has been addressed, and now it's just blending all that together. We got some great guys that they're hungry. They want to do some good things. So, and we've been right there on the cusp of it, and so that next step is trying to make that next step and win a Mountain West championship of some sort and get in the tournament and advance in the tournament. And we've been very close to both of those things in the last 2 years. And now I do think we have a good group. If they can continue to blend and continue to work like they're doing, it's going to give us some opportunities.
What do you make of the league? I know you haven't studied every roster, every player, and every team, and stuff's moving by the day. But in general, after the 6 teams get in last year, it's going to be hard to match that, I guess, this year. But what do you make overall of where the league's at and where you guys do think you fit into that kind of hierarchy there?
Yeah, that's a hard one for me because I literally don't know really the transfers and everything that happened. I know rosters continue to change even in July and August, so I'm not totally versed on all of that. I just know it's a very competitive league, top to bottom. It keeps getting better and better. And as you mentioned, had a record 6 teams make it. Not sure, and there's been a lot about the postseason play, but postseason play, people got to understand, postseason play has a lot to do with seeding. There's no mistake. San Diego State, an outstanding team, outstanding program. I think they were at 5 seed and they were able to advance. You need a good seed to advance, in my opinion, in this tournament. And we didn't get a lot of good seeds outside of that. And I think we saw that. We blew a big lead against Dayton, unfortunately. I think that we had that game under control and didn't finish it the way we'd like to have finished it. But hopefully, as a league, we just continue to move things forward because I think the Mountain West Conference in men's basketball has been trending up for so long now, and we've been a very stable out West Conference of producing great players, great teams, and I think next year is going to be the same.
I guess final thing, I mean, did you guys get any kind of in the league meetings or whatever? Was there any kind of talk as to why Boise and Colorado State got sent to Dayton and why you guys were a 10 seed? And you mentioned the lack of respect there for the seedings, and they talk about you beating each other up and not really giving you guys a lot of respect for a lot of the wins you got because they were in the league. What do you make of that, and how does the Mountain West kind of flip that narrative or turn that or continue to? I guess it's just winning in the tournament, as you said. But what was your take on what went down and what you guys were able to figure out so you know how to schedule and things like that this year?
Yeah, we've heard a lot of that, and I think, to be honest with you, I think all the coaches, we think those are really weak excuses because the Power Fives, they beat up themselves in league play. Their quad 1 wins are coming mostly in league play, and that's what happened to the Mountain West. Well, why did it happen to the Mountain West? Because the Mountain West was really good. If you look what we did in the non-league, you look at what San Diego State, the wins they got, Colorado State, the wins they got, New Mexico, Boise. Huge wins. Boise was in I think the Charleston or Orlando last year.
Yeah.
A great tournament. We're in the Charleston one this year. You end up, we won the deal in Hawaii against TCU and Georgia Tech. So we all got very good quad 1, quad 2 wins in the non-league. And then it's not a mistake that when then you start league play, because of what you did in the non-league, there should be quad 1 opportunities, and we got those. We had 6 quad 1 wins, school record in quad 1 wins. So to say the excuse is, well, you just got in league and beat up each other. Well, that's what happens in the Big 12. It's what happens in the Big 10. That's what happens in the SEC. It's not like those teams to go into league play and they've got 5 quad 1 wins. It doesn't happen. It happens in league play. We just happened to be one of those leagues last year that was really, really good, top to bottom.
Well, it's crazy to think New Mexico had to win the tournament, or they might not have got in. And
makes no sense. Boise and Colorado State. If you look at it, Colorado State basically had to beat us in the quarterfinal of the conference tournament, and Boise, by looking at it, had to win at San Diego State, and that makes no sense. It should have been locks for all those teams, and so I think that's the next step of gaining that respect. And you're right. And I think a lot of the pundits on the outside would say, well, the Mountain West has got to do a better job of winning in the tournament. And I totally agree with that. But unfortunately, if you just have bad seed after bad seed, that's a lot harder mountain to climb than all of a sudden you're getting 4, 5, 6, 7 seeds. It just is. It's the nature of it. But you're right. I think as a league, we got to get teams in the tournament. We got to start producing wins there.
Yeah, when you're underseeded, then you're not supposed to win that game. It makes it tougher to try to come back and do that. Coach, appreciate your time as always and your
Thank
perspective.
you.
We'll see you in Vegas or for media days in October, and best of luck the rest of summer getting ready for the season.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Coach.
Thank you.